Alright guys, so I just wasted 5 hours of my life playing this deck on stream, and you know what? I had a lot of fun, mostly just because I was just chatting and hanging out with chat. We were talking about, you know, a lot of things, because of course, this is not a real deck. This deck has been engineered with one specific purpose in mind, which is to increase as much as possible the odds of being able to execute a turn 2 lethal in Runeterra without the assistance of the opponent, so without them damaging themselves in any way. Now, you can do that in a lot of different ways. I'm not really going to get, you know, too focused in on the combos here because I'll probably be touching on it later as well, but just know that it involves Sparring Student and a bunch of Shadow Isles cards. So this is a deck that is basically the memeiest of meme tier decks. Like, this is a beyond terrible deck. It has no competitive viability. Every card was chosen here with the sole purposes of increasing the odds of a turn 2 kill using a bunch of very convoluted combos. Oh yeah, also I put one copy of Karma in this deck because it actually doesn't really matter, and I thought it'd be funny if I made Karma's win rate just a little bit lower because it wasn't low enough already. So I thought I'd share with you guys my journey of playing with this deck today and suffering a remarkable amount of almost lethals on turn 2. And of course, every time you're attacking on odds instead of evens, you basically have to concede because there's just no point in turn 3 kills. Nobody likes turn 3 kills. The whole point is getting it on turn 2. Any deck can kill you on turn 3. Like Azir Aurelia is killing you on turn 3. They can't kill you on turn 2 like this deck can, though. If I had to give this deck a competitive tiering, well, since the deck is designed to surrender whenever you don't have the ability to get your turn 2 kill, since, again, that's the entire point, well, if we assume that a tiering system was going to scale linearly down in increments of 2.5, basically weighed at the same level as my tier list is currently weighed, well, we end up with a tier 23 deck. Yep. That's right. That being said, at the very least, I had a fun time doing it, mostly. I mean, like I said, I was just, you know, chilling in Twitch chat, shooting the shit with you guys, and, yeah, relaxing, talking about all kinds of things while we're, you know, just struggling to get this to happen one time. And, yeah, that's pretty much what we did today on stream. Hope you guys enjoy those games. Please don't play this deck. AMA. Okay, here we go. I've been thinking on this a lot, and the best I could find with 3 regions, so it'd be really cool to hear your take on it. In theory, can there be a round 2 kill without surrender? A round 2 kill without surrender. Okay, this looks good. The most reliable turn 2 lethal. This actually, this looks even more reliable. Yeah. So, what's the most likely turn 2 lethal? We have 6 cards and 3 mana to play with. Can I engineer any higher odds than this combo? Because this was 3 months ago, before we had Droplet. If you have Triple Islander, or some combination of Fading Memories Islander, into 1 Keeper, 1 Butcher, and 1 Sparring Student, that's exact lethal. I think the odds, if you build a deck around maximizing your odds, are actually probably not that bad. Assuming you're attacking on evens and your opponent's passing, it's probably over 1%, actually. You have to assume both of those things, which, you know, if you factor in for those assumptions, is still under 1%, but I mean, hey, that's something. I don't think we're getting enough average damage per mana if we're doing that. Sapling is 1 mana for 2 damage. That's nothing, and it can't buff our Sparring Students. There's like, I'm not looking at all the Sapling lines, but there's kind of no way Sapling is good enough. It is a second spell for Claws of the Dragon. So like on turn 1, you can Sapling toss, but then you won't have anything to cast Fading Memories on because you've used your turn 1 mana, and the Fading Memories is no good. But what if you Droplet turn 1? So that's the hand. It's turn 1, you have Droplet, Memories, Sapling Toss, and 3 Claws. But you can't have 6 cards on turn 1. So I can't think of a single hand that Crawling Sensation hits. Am I stupid? The hands where it hits are ones where we use both of our Butchers on the Crawlings, right? So how are we going to get the first death trigger? Could just make the last card a low win rate champion or something. Just, yeah. I mean, we're at 39 cards. Might as well boost someone's win rate. It's Karma. We just make it a Karma deck. 1 Islander, 3 Islander, 1 Shadow Fiend, 1 Fading, 1 Droplet, 1 Butcher, 1 Crawling, 1 Claws. This is like the cutest one. I actually love this one. So it's hard to list out every single possible combination because like there would be a lot that are very equivalent. That's fine. Straightforward enough. All right. Butcher hapless. I think I do have to kick everything that's not 0 mana. Okay, hang on. Wait a second. Wait. That's fine. That's okay. Wait a second. We just need one more draw. This could be it. It's looking good. What do we need? Second Butcher? Butcher or Sparring Student works, right? I think. Ooh. I don't think that's quite gonna work.
What do you call that technique?
I mean, how far are we? I don't think it's there.
What's that noise?
Is it? I don't know. I'm too lazy to actually do the math. One off? That would be so sad. Is this it? Oh no, it's one off. We're so close. We just needed that last pesky to be like an Islander. Actually, would Islander even have done enough there? Because we would have had to have played it after the sparring, before the Sparring Student, right? Oh god. So what minor variations to that hand work? Like even Islander would have been awkward, right? Am I wrong? Second Butcher? Yeah, Second Butcher was what we needed. Like how many Cursed Keeper hands are there? We went through and found like 1 or 2 Cursed Keeper hands. But Relic at least has like pretty common hands that helps. Like how insane would it be to just keep Relic here? I can't. I don't think I can keep Claws either. I don't know. Keeping Claws, I hate keeping Claws. I hate keeping Claws. It's so much rarer to find like the Claws combo hands. There's so many more hands that just win with light units. All right. Do we have an out here?
I can learn from
Sparring?
watching you.
All right, we just need Sparring or Fading, right? Sparring or Fading? Is that it? We got Fading! Is this it? Are we good?
What do you call
Is that enough?
technique?
It actually might be short. If the, oh god, did this need to be hapless? Did this actually need to be hapless instead?
Fresh catch? Well, it was fresh.
Because this Wings in the Wave is kind of useless. Can I use it to eat? Oh god, is it better to play Last Wind here? Wait. Is it actually? It can't be. It's so sad. It can't be. Yeah, I have to just go wide.
The breath takes, the waters give.
Oh man. It's not quite enough. It's another 19. It's another 19. That's so sad, dude.
Next time.
Oh my god. That's tragic. If that was hapless, like I was saying, if that was hapless instead of Wings of the Wave, that would have actually been lethal. If only it was hapless instead. If only if it was hapless instead. Is Pesky Spectre too card inefficient, or is the 0 cost too invaluable to cut? The 0 cost is straight up too invaluable to cut. Like the thing is, okay, so we've got 6 cards and 3 mana, right? So we basically need, to be able to be efficient enough, we need 3 0 mana cards. The 0 mana cards we have access to are Islander, Pesky, and Fading if Fading is used on one of those 2, which Fading usually doesn't want to be used on, right? And Butcher, of course. So that's like a 9 of. We're almost never going to be in the situation where we're out of cards and thirsty for a way to use mana. That can't, it's like, it's possible, but it's really rare here. But that's part of the reason why, I mean, even Claws is necessary here. Wait, is this? Wait a second. We're almost here. Oh, it's not quite. I don't think there's any outs here.
Just like we practiced.
Droplet? Yeah, Droplet, Droplet kind of needed to be something bigger there if I was gonna have a chance. So, I mean, just to play it out, I'm kind of curious.
Oh, hello there.
So if this droplet was... How many different things?
Where are you?
If this droplet was a second butcher... That's not quite enough, right? You kind of need 2 sparring students. 1 sparring hands can kind of only work if they're insane. 1 sparring, 1 feeding. Yeah, you need like claws. Claws can make 1 sparring hands work. 16. 16. So if that was a butcher, I would have been at 19. Oh god. That's so painful. Is this it? I wonder the math on keeping a droplet if I already have a crawling. Oh, hang on. Wait a second. We got hapless. Fucking droplet. So if I have crawling, isn't that it? Or does crawling not work with the hapless? If I top deck the crawling now, oh no, it still won't be enough, I think. Fucking droplet. Yeah, fucking droplet. So what is this? Probably another like 16 or something. I'm too lazy to actually do this math every single time. Droplets trolling. I mean, the thing is, literally anything this could have possibly been that I could add more to in my deck is a brick here, guys. Like, I can basically guarantee you guys that droplet is proper on the math to maximize the turn 2. I mean, if I could put more butchers in my deck, then I would. Yeah, it's 16 again. Why am I doing this? I can feel it coming up. Droplet and crawling. See, that's interesting. So like 1 droplet and you just play for just quad top deck outs. So what's the math on this? If I play for 4 specific top decks, effectively 4 pretty specific ones, is that better than full mulling? I think it actually is. On pesky. I don't think pesky hits this. Ah, this is so close too. This is so close, but it couldn't have been pesky. Oh god. I think full mulligan is a massive bait in this deck.
Just like we practiced.
So now I just draw the fading. We got about as close as we could have. Had to be butcher. Yeah, I needed butcher and fading. The year is 2054. Precipic Sun continues to play matches and autopass without really knowing the reasons why. Just that he must continue. Swim, on the other hand, still has not realized that the pandemic has ended and is just too far along to stop before getting the combo just once. So he continues mulliganing in different ways each time before Riot Dovagetis reveals that he has fixed the game so that Swim's account can never draw the correct cards for a turn 2 OTK. Sunk cost fallacy? No, this is a very, very different fallacy. Guys, sunk cost is a very different thing. Alright? We're pot committed. It's different. Alright? So in poker, we use the word pot committed to refer to the sunk cost fallacy. Because, like, you know, if you're in a big pot, if your money's in the pot, you just have no choice but to stay in it. That's just how it works, right? Like, the difference between sunk cost and being pot committed is pot committed is a ratio of value in to value out, right? Whereas sunk cost means you've already lost the value out. In this case, the proportionate value that I'm getting from the climax of seeing this combo happen once is relative to how long it takes us, right? So it's sort of like being in a really long poker hand where you're just committing deeper into the pot over and over again, right? But the payoff is going to be proportional, so it's not sunk cost fallacy. It's a different thing. See? Hey Swim, I think I found a hidden combo. You just have to have Crawling Sensation and the Droplets Attune mechanic while also summoning a mulliganed Pesky in between butchering the student after using Islander on Relic, but only before removing Ionize as a mod. Okay, hang on. Wait a second. I think I actually keep the Droplet Butcher Crawling here. Because the Crawling win condition hand just needs Runner Student into second Butcher. Okay, those odds aren't great. But Faden can substitute for any of those. God, those odds are really bad. I think that actually might be worse than just mulliganing. Why are those odds so bad? Runner, student. At least one student. I mean, it could have been 2 fading memories. 1 student and 2 fading memories would have done it. Like, claws does lead to a lot of the combos. Like, even if I don't have fading memories, maybe I should be keeping claws. Isn't claws only ever played with double fading? So, the weird thing is, when I have the... Oh, okay, hang on. Hang on. God, see, like, do you keep claws here? I hate keeping claws. Because it can blank us out. And, like, you need to draw 2 very specific spells. But I can't win without fading memories. It just comes down to which hands help more. I actually think that the claws is probably proper to keep here. It just feels so bad, but I think I have to keep it. Claws, crawling, butcher. All right. Okay. Fading. Okay, we're 1 card off. This is it. We just need droplet. This is it. It's just droplet. Pesky too. Pesky or droplet. Yeah, pesky works too, right? Doesn't it? It can't be Islander. That's the sad thing, that it can't be Islander, because I have nothing to discount. All right, guys. This is the easiest top deck of my life. Ready, boys? This really was an easy game. All right. And you're good.
What do you call that technique?
It's beautiful.
We bullet.
Overkill. Not even 20. That's it. See? Deck's clearly good. Precipic, play a blocker, you coward. Yeah, I know in his head he was thinking about it too. Like, all right, we're finally out. We're released. Dead on turn 2. And see, guys, it really wasn't that hard. I told you it wouldn't take that long. I've been streaming for 6 hours. But I didn't start until like an hour in. Turn 1 OTK tomorrow? All right, I'll tell you what. The moment that in Runeterra a turn 1 OTK becomes possible, I think it's pretty close, right? The moment that a turn 1 OTK becomes possible, I'll do it. I don't know why I just agreed to that. It sounds like a horrible idea. What an easy deck to win with. The turn 2 lethal. Not even difficult. Is it possible to have a turn 1 lethal? All right, so let's think at this point. Is it possible to have a turn 1 lethal? What's the most amount of damage? You would need to get your opponent's help at that point. The opponent will have 5 cards. They can do 5 damage to themselves, right? They just play like caustic casks. If the opponent is helping, you could maybe do a turn 1 lethal. 12 is the most damage. You can do 12 on turn 1, right? And then the opponent can deal 5 to themselves. Because they just play 5 casks to themselves. And you can deal 12. 12 sounds right. All right, turn 1 lethal. What's the absolute maximum you can do for this 1 mana you have on turn 1? It's just like, so how does that work? Sparring student, 2 pesky, 2 butcher. That's 11 damage. How do you do 12? I mean, I guess I can use casks instead of peskies. So I can do 13 damage. And the opponent, if they're playing 5 casks, can deal 5 to themselves if they draw 3 cask, 2 fading. Right? Is that maximum? And we can use each other's casks, right? We can fading each other's casks, which is actually kind of nice. Because the opponent can give me casks for my fadings. So fading is worth a cask for the butcher. So I can do 13 damage. Can I do more than 13 damage without the opponent helping? Without the opponent helping, can I do more than 13 damage? Is vision an option? There's like Poro Cannon vision. Yeah, the problem with with any sort of discard on vision is it's too many regions at that point. Because like Noxus doesn't offer enough to this, I think. There's a Toon 1-drops as well that help. Yeah, there's like the Bilgewater one. I mean, no, seriously. So who can deal more than 13? Because the best I have. Wait, that's also too many regions. Hang on, I have a weird brain thing. Yeah, sparring Castic fading, sparring fading Butcher with the opponent's Castic is 13 damage, right? So it goes sparring, double fading on their Caustic Cask, double Cask, double Butcher. That's 13 damage. Without including their casks, that's 13 damage. Can anyone get more than 13? You get 14 damage with 5 Islanders and 1 4 attack. Really? I'm only counting 2, guys. I'm pretty sure that Fading Memories and Butcher and Sparring Student are 2 regions, my friends. Pretty confident, because, yep, it's 2. Uh-huh. You can actually do it. Student, 2 Fadings and 2 Butchers, and opponent 3 casks and 2 Fadings is the perfect 20. No, that's 18. Because your student's going to have 5 attack, Butchers for 3 each for 11, and then they take a total of the 7 casks for 18. It's not quite possible in the current game to deal 20 on turn 1 yet. And I can promise you the moment it becomes possible, it'll be something that relies on the opponent helping with their own caustics, which is kind of sad because that will make it take just exponentially longer. Opponent makes claws and we fading it. Ooh. Wait a second. Wait a second. Is there something there? Is that actually a thing? So opponent can play claws. If we have a sparring student, we can have an islander, and we can have like 3 fadings. How do they play claws? That's the least of our problems. That's their problem. Okay. So a sparring student and islander. The islander has to be played before the sparring, so it's just 2 damage. Sparring at 1, 3. Each of the claws is just representing 4. God, is it actually possible? Is there a way? If the opponent plays claws for me, if they get out their own claws, what's the maximum amount of damage I can do with like fading memories in my claws? Isn't it 15? With either islander or a pesky specter. So 1 student, 2 fading, 2 claws is, I think that's the most damage. 5 claws plus student. How are you gonna get that 6th card, homie? You have 5 cards. So that's the closest you can get. So it has to be 2 fading, 2 claws, and 1 sparring student. That'll deal 17 damage exactly on turn 1. And then the opponent will have had to have played 2 spells to summon their own claws. This is the trick. So now how do we get the opponent to kill themselves with their own triple caustic if they need to have 2 spells and a claws in their hand? Because I need to fading their claws, otherwise this doesn't work. I can't fading my own claws. 19 damage maxed out. I'm not seeing it yet. Rummage Poro Cannon. Rummage Poro Cannon does work, yeah. Rummage Poro Cannon would work. So they have to use, for their 1 mana, they use a Poro Cannon on something. They rummage away the Poros, doesn't matter. They have at least 1 Claws of the Dragon. That's 2 regions. It's just PNZ Ionia. They have 1 Claws of the Dragon that comes out. It just needs to be 1. And then they play 3 Caustic Casks. And they have exactly enough mana to do all that. Because that only costs 1 mana, the rummage. And I have 2 claws, sparring, 2 fading memories that I use on their claws. 0 mana thermo works too. Yes, they can 0 mana thermo my sparring student. So that's 20 damage. That is exactly 20 damage. That works. Stress testing as well. And all they have to do is draw all 3 casks. The odds of that are actually not as low as it sounds, guys. The odds of that are actually not as low as it sounds. Because that deck can be designed where you just need to draw 3 casks and a claws. And like, you know, you have rummage and poros and thermo and stress testing. That's not that hard. And then I need to draw sparring, 2 claws, and 2 fadings. All right, here we go, guys. Round 2. Yeah, I mean, those odds are about as max as they can get. We don't really have additional outs. Like, I mean, the PNZ deck would run like stuff like Thermo and Production Surge. The odds, so you just have to multiply the odds together. It needs all 3 caustics, and there's no way around that. But triple drawing a 3 of actually isn't as hard. On turn 1, it gets a lot harder. Yeah, it's not great. See, someone in chat said 0.5%. This is literally just already the odds of them drawing 3 caustic casks on turn 1. Then you have to multiply that with my hands, and they have to get a clause, and they basically need rummage because there's no other way to cast 2 spells with 3 caustic casks and a clause without rummaging into the clause or doing. Yeah, no, that's basically the only way to do it. Yeah, no, these are really quite low. I mean, the rummage can pull the caustics. It's practically impossible. So if we're estimating the odds of the opponent's side being able to get what they need is going to be about 1 in 1,000 already. And then we have to estimate the other side, which is, I mean, it literally needs to be exactly the sparring student. Doesn't it need to be literally exactly sparring students, 2 fading memories, and 2 claws? I guess it could be 3 fading memories and 1 claw. And every single brick blanks you there. That'll actually be in the order of magnitude of 1 in a million. That's actually lower than I thought. Yeah, that's pretty low. I mean, 1 in 1,000 is of course 0.1%. It'll actually be, just because of like the very, very specific cards, it'll literally be 0.0001%, something in that order, right? That would take half a month. So if we run, how many games can we do per hour? That would take a pretty long time. It's still more fun than playing Runeterra right now. And the attack token. Oh god, I forgot about the attack token. I forgot about the 50-50 for the attack token. Jesus Christ. That's so funny. Holy shit. It might actually be closer to 1 in 10 million. Not if we're like counting like sleep hours, but if we're doing 8 hours a day, which is kind of like the reasonable amount, we're able to go through about 1,000 a day. How many days does a human live? No, it would take less than a lifetime. Humans live like 27,000 days. Yeah. No, this is very doable. Humans have plenty of life. 27,000, and you'd need to run it if you're doing 8 hours a day. You need to run it something along the lines of. It'll be in the range of like 5,000 to 1,000 days, so it'll be over a decade, but it will be within a human lifetime. About 30 years. Yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of estimation, but it is doable from just the perspective of a human life. I guess it would be 2 lives because it would be 2 different people trying to work together to do it. But if the entire community tries this, we'll get it in less than a week. That's actually probably true. If literally every single player was doing it. All right. So yeah, it'd take somewhere between 10 and 40 years across 2 people. Ask me again when there's some cards that make the math a little bit easier for the turn 1 kill. But I'm probably not going to be doing this turn 1 kill at this moment in time.